Cy Young Awards will be announced tonight. We have Paul Skenes in the National League and Tarik Skubal in the American League, considered pretty much the runaway winners. AJ, I want to start with you. The question is not whether Skenes and Skubal will win. It's whether or not they will be unanimous. Do you think either of them deserve to be unanimous this year?
Geez, I think Skenes, you know what? I think they got to both have a chance. I think Skubal is going to get it again. I don't know, Crochet and Hunter Brown didn't do enough, especially towards the end. And if you would include, and Sánchez might steal a vote from, so I think Skubal will be unanimous. I don't think Skenes will, just because I think Sánchez or Yamamoto are going to steal a vote somewhere. Now, here's the better thing. If they included the postseason, I know not all these guys were in the postseason. Mm-hmm. You have to make a case for Yamamoto and what he did in the postseason for the Dodgers. So, and Christopher Sánchez pitched great. Now, it's not Skenes' fault they didn't make it, but I think Sánchez or Yamamoto will steal a vote, and I think Skubal is going to be unanimous.
Erik, what about you? Where do you stand? Once again, the NL Cy Young finalists, Christopher Sánchez with the Phillies, Paul Skenes with the Pirates, Yoshinobu Yamamoto with the Dodgers. Over in the American League, Garrett Crochet with the Red Sox, Hunter Brown with the Astros, and Tarik Skubal. Do you think Skubal or Skenes deserve to be unanimous?
I think they do deserve to be unanimous, but I'm going to go the opposite of what AJ just said. I think in the American League, I think Crochet is probably the only one that gets a chance to maybe take a first place vote away from Skubal. I think Skenes did exactly what, like, his numbers. He had, I think, one blip on the radar the whole season, but he was essentially beginning to end favorite to win the Cy Young, and he did it. Like, rarely do you see that. Normally it's like, okay, this dude's coming in, Skubal probably coming in to be that favorite again. I think Crochet gave him a run for his money. He ultimately will not beat him, but I think Skubal loses one first place vote to Crochet.
Diving into the NL race here a little bit, Paul Skenes, look, this was an incredible year. 1.97 ERA. That was more than half a run lower than his closest competition in the National League. Again, pick your favorite statistic: WHIP, strikeouts, FIP, ERA plus. It's Skenes by a mile. What's interesting about this is he went 10-10, and we know we're in an age where wins are not considered the big factor in Cy Young voting that they were a long time ago. Nonetheless, it is interesting, the concept of a pitcher with a 500 record winning the Cy Young Award, when as recently as 20 years ago, it would have been unthinkable. And again, it wasn't his fault. His offense only provided him with 11 runs in those 10 losses. So, I mean, his case really speaks for itself. But nonetheless, it is kind of a historical anomaly.
You think, though? Really? Because when Felix won the 1 year, there's been some guys that have done this. So I don't know that it's that big of an anomaly anymore because of the advanced metrics now. I think that this has just become wins. This is the whole wins don't matter, which I kind of disagree with, because wins should matter. Because at the end of the day, you get paid on wins and losses as a team.
Yeah, so Felix was at least a little bit over 500. He was 13-12, so one game over. But you're right. I mean, we've seen wins sort of be de-emphasized. And you mentioned it's something that you don't necessarily agree with. Erik, where are you on that?
I mean, wins are important. Starting pitchers need to win. But the reality is, like, even in Felix's case, I think he had 250 innings or 240 some innings that year. Like, he gave you everything. Like, some of these guys, and it's not Paul Skenes, or it's not Paul Skenes' fault at all. He's getting taken out. They're 100% load managing him for whatever reason. I guess the Pirates have the answers more than anybody, or maybe it's just the whole game. But guys don't pitch long enough to get wins. Sometimes you have to pitch into the seventh inning before your team scores. Sometimes you have to be able to pitch into the sixth inning. I mean, I think Skenes did a good job of pitching as deep as he was allowed to pitch, but they don't let guys get wins, and that's why wins for pitchers aren't as important. A guy that pitched deep into games this year, Max Fried, also got hurt deeper into games. So I think there's some argument on both sides, but if you're a starting pitcher, if we have Max Scherzer on here right now, he wants the win in every game. And I think it's just a change in mindset, and I don't think it's a change in the player's mindset. It's a change in the front office mindset or the coaching staff's mindset.
Absolutely. You mentioned Felix Hernandez, of course. Jacob deGrom was another guy who won 2 Cy Young Awards while finishing barely over 500. He went 10-9 and 11-8 his 2 seasons. He won Cy Young Awards. AJ, you mentioned something earlier I thought was interesting, that Yoshinobu Yamamoto. If this vote took place after
Mm,
the World Series, if these votes took place
mm,
with postseason performance in consideration,
mm.
would you start to lean Yamamoto more, or would it still be Skenes for you?
Yamamoto has to be under consideration because he was the best pitcher in the postseason. I mean, especially after his epic Game 7 performance, after pitching Game 6 and winning, he won 3 of the 4 World Series games for the Dodgers. So I think he would have to be involved in it, but it's a regular season award. I get it. That's why Yamamoto won the World Series MVP. But and the other thing is you can't include postseason because not all these guys are in the postseason. You can't
Right.
criticize Skenes because his team stinks and they don't spend any money and score any runs. So I think yeah, if postseason was involved, I think Yamamoto would be right there with Skenes.
I
Yeah,
think it's funny
Yamamoto
because
was.
no, I think it's funny because he's probably going to end up third and probably a distant third, I would assume. I think Christopher Sánchez put together friggin' amazing year, but the fact that Yamamoto would be in consideration to dethrone Skenes shows you the fact that starting pitchers matter. I get it. Last year, the Dodgers won because of their bullpen, but this year they won because of starting pitching. I wonder if it'll be reflected in this free agency this offseason.
So you have Sanchez potentially finishing second, Yamamoto third, but you're right. What Yoshinobu Yamamoto did, even during the regular season, he was the only Dodgers starter to make every start this year. We know this rotation was ailing. He was the one constant for them.
Kratz Pop Quiz. What has 35 grams of protein, 6 grams of fiber, 27 essential vitamins and minerals, comes in excellent flavors like, of course, chocolate, vanilla, but chocolate peanut butter, my favorite. No added sugar, gluten-free, under $5 per meal, and is ready to drink.
Go out the house, get yourself a Huel. Look at you. You even have one right there. Ready to smack that, John? Chocolate peanut butter, chocolate, and vanilla. Deliciosos.
Also, there is a new daily greens ready to drink, 42 vitamins, minerals, and superfoods. Only 25 calories on that one, 4 grams of fiber. There's flavors like blueberry, apple, peach. Huel makes healthy eating simple. They also just launched into Target stores nationwide. Try both products today with 15% off your purchase for new customers with the code FOUL at huel.com/FOUL. Use that code FOUL and fill out the post-checkout survey to help support FT.
Moving over into the American League, we talked about Tarik Skubal had yet another amazing season. He will be the Cy Young Award winner in the AL for the second year in a row. Garrett Crochet and Hunter Brown are interesting to me because both of these guys, as they were coming up as prospects, a lot of evaluators consider them future relievers. I can't tell you how many times over my tenure at Baseball America, I heard these two guys are probably going to be relievers. And Crochet did start as a reliever before moving into the rotation with the White Sox. What do you think this shows you about, guys and their ability to continue to evolve? Because I think sometimes we see guys as almost finished products when they get to the majors, when nothing could be further from the truth.
I think it shows that teams don't always know what they're doing. I think it shows you that evaluators aren't always right. And I think it shows you that you have to give guys chances to grow. I mean, Chris Sale came up as a reliever. He was a closer. I remember I was there. He was our closer for a little while, right? Because everyone's like, oh, he's going to get hurt. He's never going to be able to pitch 200 innings. He's never going to be able to do this. And now he's on a Cooperstown track. So I think you have to let guys develop and figure it out. Crochet got hurt, so that cost him some time. But I think in his mind, he always wanted to be a starter. He was a starter coming out of college, and he always thought he'd be a starter down the road. And the White Sox didn't allow him to do that until the 1 year, and he proved he could do it. Now, he didn't get to pitch a lot, but the Red Sox were like, you know what? You're our guy now. You're our one. Go out there and do it. And for Hunter Brown made some adjustments from where he was a couple years ago. He quit trying to be Justin Verlander. He became Hunter Brown. He's really good.
I think these guys have the opportunity to start. It really gets put on the plate of the player. We had a discussion about a week and a half ago about Mason Miller. To me, if Mason Miller says, I want to be a starter, he's learned to pitch in the big leagues. He's learned to see how his body recovers. You got to want to try. You got to want to try because what's the worst that can happen? I remember when Garrett Crochet said he wanted to be a starter and the White Sox were like, well, we don't care about anything else, so we're just going to let him do it. it's on him. But the question was, dude, this guy missed 2 of the last 3 seasons because of injuries, and now all of a sudden he's going to be a starter. He's probably going to blow out even more, and he's shown that this guy is a monster. Like, his frame says, hey, you know what? I can deal with throwing 100 miles an hour for 7 innings, and then I get my 5 days to recover, and it's worked out perfectly. To me, I think it should be the opposite. When you get called up, it should be he's a starter until he proves he's not a starter. Then you go to the bullpen, and then you say, okay, are you able to build back up the stuff you've learned? Not, well, he's a bullpen guy. Like, how can you tell somebody's a bullpen guy because he doesn't have a second pitch when he's 22 years old? I think evaluators make that assumption too quickly in guys' careers sometimes.
Yeah, no question about it. Looking at it, once again, Tarik Skubal is going to be most likely the winner. 2.21 ERA, nearly a quarter of a run better than anyone else in the league. Braun was second. I will say Crochet leading the American League with 205 and a third innings, given all the things we talked about. Just truly amazing, and shows that you don't want to put limits on greatness.